Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Qué lo que? To the bang. Bom dia. It's your boy Style King checking in. All right, guys, let's get into it. I got a little story time for you today. This story today is about my first time in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Okay, so I went to Dominican Republic for my 40th birthday, September 1st. I got there on August 29th, I think. And I hung out, had some Presidentes on the block. I didn't really know anything, didn't know what to do. I walked to a restaurant. I had some good food. I came back home, stood outside, talked to some people outside for a while, then I went to bed. So the next day I got up and I walked that evening to a restaurant called Mr. Grill. It's in Santo Domingo Este. Now, I didn't know anything about Santo Domingo Este, Norte, anything. So to me, it just seemed like a regular busy city, like the same thing I would expect if I landed in Mexico City. It was kind of that vibe. Everybody just, doing what they're doing there. You know, high traffic, people are walking fast, things are happening. So I didn't really feel out of place. I noticed people looking at me a little strange, but, nothing too much. So I walked to Mr. Grill and I sit down. It's a happening place, man. It's a rooftop bar. I don't know if it's a rooftop bar, but it's like an open air bar restaurant. So it's really good. So I sat there and I ordered some food. I had a smoking a cigar. And to my right is my ex now. So she's sitting there and she's having drinks by herself. She's eating food. So I'm thinking like, wow, this girl, has it going on. She got her own money. I don't know what's going on with her. So it's a table in front of her with two women that are beautiful as well. So I'm kind of contemplating which table I should try to, you know, pay more attention to. But, it's kind of more difficult to approach two women and choose one of them over the other versus one that's by herself. And she was just as beautiful. So I just went over to her very confidently with my phone, my translator, and asked her for a phone number, and she gave it to me. So we sit there and we're texting each other while we're still eating, and So anyway, she said that she's about to leave and asked me did I want to get out of there. So I'm like, okay, wow. So she comes and jumps in the taxi with me, and we go back to my Airbnb. But then once we get there, she's kind of like super tipsy, and she's like, I think I should just go home. This is all through Translate, Google Translate. So she goes back home, and then when she gets home, she sends me a message asking me to come to her house. And I say, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know the area well enough to even think about that. So I just told her that I was fine. I didn't want to deal with her that night. All right. So the next day, I talked to some girls off of Dominican Cupid, and I met up with a really beautiful girl off Dominican Cupid. Her name, we're gonna call her Sally. Let's call her Sally. So me and Sally meet up. I get a in drive taxi to pick me up from Santo Domingo Este to take me all the way to Santo Domingo Norte to pick up this girl. Now, in hindsight, don't get in a taxi to go pick up the girls. You can because my Dominican friends and my Haitian friends they don't mind going to pick up the girls, but the most of the gringos don't go to do that, and you don't know a lot of times if these girls are working or if they're not working. So that's another thing. I was picking her up in all honesty, thinking that she was not a working girl. So I ride the taxi all the way out to Santo Domingo Norte. Is the road stopped? We're on gravel and straight dirt roads. This guy's car is like you can tell it's not the top brand car. So we're really struggling. Now that I think about it, if we broke down, I would have had a lot more problems because I'm the gringo. So anyway, He picks her up. We go all the way back to Santo Domingo. We go to like towards the colonial zone so we can have lunch. I paid this taxi driver about $8 and he drove us for like an hour and a half. So I think I gave him like $10, but I only owed him like seven, which is crazy. So anyway, we have lunch. Everything's great. We are using the translator because my Spanish at that point was not the best, of course. Muy poquito. So now we go back to my Airbnb and what happened? Oh, my Airbnb host lived downstairs. So she calls me and says, "Hey, if you need to get some money exchanged, let's go right now." So me and the girl, we jump in the car and we pull off with the Airbnb host. We go get some money exchange. So at this point, the girl sees. So I really don't even want to use the money exchange in front of the girl. So I'm like, wow. So I only get like 5,000 pesos, right? Big mistake. Me and the girl go grocery shopping. I buy some groceries because I didn't have a card at the time. So the Airbnb host took us grocery shopping. I come back and me and the girl, we do the gymnastics, right? So after gymnastics is over, immediately after gymnastics is over, she starts complaining about her mom having bills and all kind of different little problems. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with that? And she says she needs 4,500 pesos to help her mom, and she needs to go take it to her mom now. So, oh, that's a big lesson to learn, guys. Just because you're in pursuit of a woman or she pursues you and you agree that this is not a transactional relationship, it's a real relationship and you're really trying to get to know each other, she could be lying to you and still try to charge you at the end of the day like a working girl. But she's not going to call herself a working girl. She's going to say she's in school. She's going to say that her mom's sick. It's just going to be an excuse because she doesn't want to take responsibility for being a working girl. She doesn't like the label of that. But that's exactly what she is. So keep that in mind, guys. So back to my future ex. After that encounter, I was pretty distraught. Not distraught, but I was just upset. And, you know, I felt so betrayed because I spent almost the whole day with this person. So anyway, I ended up the girl that I met at Mr. Grill. She calls me. Let's call her Lisa. Lisa calls me and she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" So I'm honest with her because I'm hot, and I tell her about the whole situation because I'm confused on how that's even possible because that doesn't really happen too much in the States like that. So she, explains to me that that's common in the Dominican Republic, and that me and her should get together the following day. So we do that. We meet up. She pretty much takes over. She stays with me for the rest of my trip. I was there for another 4 days because I cut my trip short once I realized that it was a lot of working girls there. But then now I get with the girl Lisa from the Mr. Grill. She's beautiful. She has a very mestizo look. She's on a couple of my covers. And but she has like tattoo on her face, and that I did not see in Mr. Grill because she always, you know how the girls have that little swoop hair thing coming down on the side by the eye. She had that, and right there below the hair, she had a tattoo on her forehead. So I didn't see that until we were already like kicking it in intimate. So that's another thing. Just be very wary of that. Pay a lot. Try to pay close attention. So anyway, we like I said, we spent the next 3-4 days together, pretty much shacked up in the Airbnb. She wanted to stay in a lot. We went out a couple times, but she liked to stay in. So pay attention to that. Yeah, that could be a warning sign because she turned out to be like a crazy scammer. Like she was showing me pictures on her phone one day, and she had several accounts on WhatsApp, on different websites, Facebook, and I saw it. So she had to explain it. So she made it seem like She was entrusting me with her secrets that she's a scammer, but it's just digitally, and she doesn't really like try to do negative things to people, but she's poor and she lives in the Dominican Republic and it's not really that many jobs. So she's making it seem like she's not a working girl. And in those type of countries, coming from the United States, not really understanding everything about the situation, I was like, okay, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt since you're coming clean to me. I'm taking it as that. So I don't change my plans for her though, not at all. I fly back to the United States and I'm back in the United States, back at work. Everybody's, asking me how my trip was, and I'm just telling them how great it was, how good a time I had. Like, she didn't charge me nothing. But keep in mind that I told her about the bad experience I had with the girl that charged me. So she didn't charge me anything. It was not a transactional thing, I believed. Right. So once I was back home, we continued talking, which is a mistake that YouTubers and everybody will tell you is not a good thing to do. So we continued talking, and she, would send me pictures, and sometimes it'd be explicit, sometimes not. Very, very sweet. Send me videos of her cooking every day, and just, her daily routine. And I was really taken by that. Like, wow, she must really like me, because I didn't expect her to try to keep the things going from the trip. So she never asked me for money for at least about I would say at least about 3 weeks. So probably about week 4. In that week, she said something about her phone was broken and she needed money to repair her phone. Like I think it was like $50, $60. So I sent her the money, and next thing I know, she's back talking like regular. But then she started developing this really jealous thing where she was acting like she was jealous of things that didn't exist. So just, hyper inflating the jealousy. Trying to it's all a game. It's like a narcissist game to draw you in. And it works for a time. Anyway, I digress. So I end up coming back to the island. And when I get back, my first day back, she put her hands on me. It's so crazy. So I get back, I get the Airbnb already. I went and got a rent a car. I got a SUV, brand new SUV. I go pick her up. I met her downtown Santo Domingo. She got dropped off to me, and we go and I go find the Airbnb. We pull up to the Airbnb. I parked the car in the garage, and then we were about to walk across the street, maybe down the block to a bodega. But she's like telling me what to do. Like, let's go here, let's go there, let's do that. And I'm like, no, let's get back in the truck, and I want to go drive over there because I got more places to go besides the bodega. And it's hard with the communication. It was hard to really express that to her, and she got frustrated really fast and slapped me across my neck. And my natural reaction was to kind of grab her at the same time. So then she looked at me crazy when I did grab her arm, and she stopped. So we ended up going straight back to the Airbnb, and we had a talk, and she apologized and, you know, let it be known that she, has, quick temper and things like that. But this is a total opposite from the girl I met the first time I was there. So that is another thing that, they do classify in the narcissism category where things can change rapidly. But anyway, it's not really about the narcissist thing. It's more about just being aware of the type of person that you're around. And this is my story from, my first trip to Santo Domingo, my mistakes. So anyway, after that, we hang out a little bit more. Everything's great. Gymnastics is awesome. We go out, we hanging out a couple days, and then I only had the Airbnb booked for like a week, so then I get another Airbnb which has like a jacuzzi. So we having a great time there, but she's having temper tantrums like here and there. Just out of control temper tantrums for no reason, short temper tantrums, and then she'll reel it back in. Where like if I'm driving and I miss the exit or I make the wrong turn because I don't know how to drive in Santo Domingo, it's a whole new country for me. New turns, new ways of doing things. The laws are different. So she was getting very frustrated with that because she's used to riding in taxis where the taxi driver knows where to go already, knows what to do. So that was an issue for her. To me, it was an adventure. So, because that's what I'm there for, to learn the culture, learn new things. So to me, I was excited about that. So it was really draining to me to have somebody so negatively affecting me right next to me that's supposed to be my partner. Okay, so keep that in mind. If somebody makes you feel that like that, then you just have to reevaluate the situation. Anyway, I digress. She so we go on after that I get a new Airbnb. We stay there. I get all the clothes washed. I had to make sure you get the washer and dryer. Make sure they got hot water. So all that was going okay. Everything was kind of it was wishy washy. So the third place that I need to get, she said that she knew somebody that runs Airbnbs and they could hook me up with a great price and it's her friend and this and that. Don't ever do that. Just like those guys that stay with girls, don't ever stay with the woman or any of that, especially if you just getting to know each other. You don't want to do that in the United States. So in a third world country is definitely not a good idea because of the dynamics of men and women's relationships in those type of countries is not the same as here. And here you don't want to do it because it messes up the dynamics. Okay, so I ended up taking her up on the offer. And then once I took her up on the offer, then she said, "Let's go hang out with my friend so you can meet him and meet my friend." And I said, "Okay, well, I don't really feel like doing that right now. I got some other stuff because I wasn't just in Santo Domingo to party. I was there also to look for real estate. I want to buy a place. It's a lot of different things I want to do." But she didn't understand that. So somebody trying to take you off your purpose in that way, be cognizant of. So, okay, so she begged and begged and begged, and so I said, okay, we go hang out with her friend. We go all the way up into the mountains, though. We're in like a place called Monte Plata, and yeah, so Monte Plata was beautiful. I drove the SUV out there. It's dirt roads. It turns into dirt roads when you get up into the villas. They had a huge villa out there. Um, the guy had snakes and peacocks and like some Scarface type of stuff, like what's the guy in Colombia, like that type of thing. Like the guy was had a scar on his neck from ear to ear. So it was some real mafioso type of thing going on. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad that y'all recognize that, I'm on that level. But at the same time, like I didn't come here for that though. I came here to have a good time and do real estate. Like I'm a straight up businessman at this point. These people are young. The girl, Lisa, she's 26 at the time. She's probably 27 now. So her friends are young. All the guys running around, they look like they like 24, 20. The guy, her friend, we're gonna call him George. He looked like he was about the same age as her. Like they might have been classmates. Um, so it was just a really weird dynamic that, a lot of these people think that, they don't understand that the way that we look at these relationships that they try to put us into. So anyway, we have a good time. Everybody's out there drinking, smoking, doing whatever we're doing. So then we leave there. Oh no, while we're there, the guy has like automatic machine guns. We go riding on dirt bikes and all kind of stuff. The girl that I'm with, Lisa, she picks up one of the handguns and points it at me and starts laughing. So that was a major, major turnoff. So I mean, I didn't flinch. I just was like, wow, that's insane. You would kill me right now. Like that's crazy. So we go. I guess she can tell I'm not having a good time anymore at this point. So we leave, and she's like yelling at me, screaming at me in the car. She's screaming at her friends in the car. I give her friends a ride back to town. She's screaming at them in the car because I missed the turn. So everything at this point was setting her off. So I'm asking her friends, like, is she always like this? Like, what is wrong with her? And they didn't even want anything to do with her. They were about to walk home. We're in the mountains, and they were trying to get away from her at the same time as I was. So this girl is psychopathic. So we finally make it back to Santo Domingo. We make it back to the Airbnb. Her friend, George, shows up with the keys, gives us the keys. We go in there for the night. It's a nice Airbnb. It's huge, like a 3 bedroom. Has a jacuzzi and everything. We have the whole rooftop terrace to ourselves. But it still felt very sleazy. Like the side of town it was on, it was in Santo Domingo Este. It was very sleazy feeling. Like it felt like a brothel almost, but just without the girls in there. Like all the furniture was very, very cheap and looked like it had been worn down. Just the colors are weird with all the RGB lights running. Just wasn't very impressive to me. So the next morning, we wake up. The girl I'm with, Lisa, she pretty much tries to rape me, like not in a bad way, but just trying to force me to have gymnastics with her. But I wasn't really feeling it, so I'm like, what's wrong? Like she's asking me what's wrong, but I'm disgusted by everything that she has done so far. So then she just goes crazy and starts saying I need to pay her all this money, and she charges me double what I've been paying for better Airbnbs for her friend's Airbnb now, and just pretty much goes into extortion mode and tells me I need to pay for her apartment door that she had to break down because she forgot her key, and it's all kind of psychopathic things. Pretty much trying to keep me hostage until I would, give her all this money. So I gave her all the money I had on me, and I booked it out the door. I took off running as fast as I could with my bags, jumped in the SUV I had and pulled off. I left my phone chargers in the Airbnb, but hell, I was just trying to get away, like, cause you hanging out with all these people that got their throats cut and you trying to extort me, there's no telling where that could go. Plus, I didn't know too much about the Dominican Republic at that time and how things work, how the police work. And you really don't even want to be in those situations when you're a foreigner. So I think I did the right thing getting away, and I was safe. And I called one of the people I knew. He came and met up with me, took me to get some new cell phone chargers, and I lived another day. Now I got this crazy story to tell. So if you got any questions, you can hit me up on Instagram. Send me a DM. Follow me at Style King Marco. StyleKingMarco. At Style King Marco on Cash App. Hit me up. Shoot me a couple bucks. At Style King Marco on YouTube. I'm Style King everywhere. Spotify, check out these new songs. New videos coming soon. If you rocking with me, man, buenos noches. Gracias. Next time, hermanos. Next time, hermanas.